on a little chase and ended dead in the street in a shootout. The troubling thing about this, I'll just make a comment, Doc, on this, if you don't mind. The troubling thing, aside from obviously, more violence, which is always a troubling thing, is that this would appear to be a more coordinated attack that seems to have been inspired by some radical terrorist sects. I think that there's a report, I don't know how credible it is, but that these two folks pledged allegiance to ISIS, that the wife was maybe the mastermind coming from Pakistan, that they had been angry and radicalized for a while, and they went and killed 14 people and wounded 20 or so others.
Well, one of the things... One of the things that I see is with this thing's different. This particular attack is different. The reason being, ISIS-style attacks, such as Paris, are impersonal in nature. They don't know these people. They know. I mean, they're just people. They're a let's say a currency, so to speak, for terror.
They seem to attack this, and I'm agreeing with you to a certain extent. They seem to attack more of the institution.
Yes.
The way that in Paris you saw them going after cafes and theaters and places where people are having
they're going
fun.
after innocent people, just like here, except they don't know these innocent people for the most part. But these two people, at least one of them, knew these people, worked with them, shared dinners with them, because apparently, after an aftermath like this, there's a lot of stuff. But apparently, the row that started was over pork at the Christmas party. That's what's been repeated several times. I don't know if that's true. What people do know and have reported is that he left angry and came back. And the FBI is reporting that they had this attack planned. Maybe not this specific attack, but they were planning an attack and had left a bomb apparently behind for the police to detonate.
They were throwing what appeared to be, at first reporting, as pipe bombs out of their cars, but they were fake or something, like decoys. Yeah, maybe to help them either. Well, I don't know. They didn't seem like they were trying to get away too bad either. They got tracked down pretty quick.
Well, the part of the thing is they had. Well, see, I scooted my camera or my thing the wrong way again. Part of the thing is they rented a truck. And as I looked at the truck, it appears to be a Chevy. And Chevy has this thing called OnStar. Mm-hmm. And if you're renting that truck, it doesn't matter if you want it on or not. It is on, and you can track it, and they can shut that car down. That's my suspicion, is that they were taking off, trying to run, did not understand the technology inside the car, and the police said, hey, can you shut this thing down? And they did. And I think now nobody has any video of it. Mm-hmm. Nobody has video of the shootout. If there are, it hasn't been released. But that is my suspicions, that they didn't understand this. But for me, I'm looking at this going, now this is different. This is Al-Qaeda called for lone wolf attacks. And quickly after that, we had the Fort Hood shooter and the Tsarnaev brothers. ISIS is coming after, is saying the same thing. Lone wolf attacks are going to be good because it makes everybody over there vulnerable. Makes me vulnerable, you vulnerable, Maddie over here is vulnerable. Everybody's vulnerable because you don't know where it's coming from. And part of the issue is most Muslims that I have interacted with, and don't get me wrong, it's not in the millions, but it's a solid 200. Most of the Muslims I've interacted with have been Americanized. They go, well, yeah, we like living here. We're second, third generation. We enjoy our lives. We go to, some of them actually went to the Catholic Church with me way back when in medical school. And it was an interesting thing. I would have gone to the mosque with them had we had one. Mm-hmm. But the problem is now, every mosque is poisoned, because it would be like if suddenly every Catholic in the world, right, if the Pope came out and said, listen, we need to have lone wolf attacks, and out of my parish over at St. Pius, one guy goes and does this, and then one person out of a parish in Perry does it, suddenly all Catholics are looked upon as with suspicion. That's human nature.
Well,
and I know you're going to disagree, but that's how people look. And the problem is that's really not how it should be.
Right. Well, I don't know that it necessarily isn't in this particular case, and I also think that we're better than that. But there is no Pope of Islam, so there is no central authority that and this is something that I think Americans have a hard time understanding, that there is no. These mullahs and these imams and these people that are calling for these kinds of attacks are speaking to a very small portion. They're speaking to a very small constituency that agree with them, almost as a cult of personality type thing. It's not like the Pope. There is no centralized authority of Islam that can direct people to do things, and so there isn't anybody that's in charge of the mosques here in the States. While I know the point you're making, but the question I would ask you, if you feel like this attack is different, let's go to what the president said about it in his reaction. Was he mistaken in calling it an act of terrorism then, or how should he have addressed it?
Well, that's I'd be glad to do that right after this break. So we're going to talk about President Obama's response to this, why this is being called terrorism, whereas a lot of other attacks have not been called terrorism, except for the respective sides. Thanks, everybody, for tuning in. We'll be back right after this break to discuss President Obama's response to San Bernardino.